In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean up your car after a 2,500-mile road trip through about 600 miles of rain, sleet, snow, salt-covered roads, bug-covered front end, everything that you'd normally do with a traditional wash, except use a hose. So the products I'm going to be using are McKees 37 Roadkill Bug Remover. Going to use some high-intensity APC Plus. Be using McKees 37 N914. Going to use some Fast Wax All-in-One as a drying aid. I'll be using the IK foamer. This is the new one with the Schrader valve, the Pro 2 Plus. I'll also be using a IK Multi with just plain water in it. All the normal typical wheel brushes, fender well brushes, tire brushes that you normally would use with a traditional wash. So let's get to it. I'll take you for a walk around the car real quick, show you just how dirty it really is, and we'll get to it. So one of the first things you're going to notice is the car really doesn't look that bad, considering what it's been through. That is the beauty of having a ceramic coating on your car. A lot of the dirt and stuff didn't stick. But as you can see on the front fender there, where the dirty water ran back on the fender. Got back to Florida. Can tell we were in Florida because there's the bugs. Bugs everywhere. You can see more of where the dirty water ran back off the front end of the car. Wheels are dirty. Fender wells are dirty. I'll show you how to clean those without a garden hose. More bugs. Dirty water streaks up the hood. So once you get close to it, you can see that the car is actually pretty dirty, but it would have been a whole lot worse without a ceramic coating on it. I don't know if you can see it with all the sun, but all the handprints in the dirt. Windows dirty. But we'll get that all cleaned up with McKees N914. Have it looking great. So one of the questions I see get asked a lot on the different forums or Facebook groups is, when I'm doing a rinseless wash, how do I clean the wheels and the fender wells and all of that? Well, the simple answer is you do it just like you would if you were doing a traditional wash. So I'm going to go ahead and use the high intensity APC Plus to clean the tires, the fender wells. The wheels are ceramic coated with McKees 37 graphene coating, so typically an APC is about all I ever really need to clean those up. I'll use the same brushes that I would use if I was doing a traditional wash. The only difference is I'll be using an IK Multi with just plain water in it to rinse off the APC. If you're not fortunate enough to have an IK Multi sprayer, you can also use a cheap garden sprayer that you can pick up at the big box store. It's simply got water in it. So we'll do this as we would do if we're just doing a traditional wash. We'll go ahead and spray everything down. We're not going to do just the face. We're going to do up in the inside the barrels. When it's all said and done, you'll never be able to tell that this car wasn't washed with a hose. So we'll take our Easy Detailer wheel brush, get up there and get the barrels all cleaned out. Take my tire brush, scrub up the tires. The tires also have McKees 37 ceramic tire coating on them, so they clean up very easily. Take one of my favorite brushes, the Easy Detail brush. Get up there and clean out the fender well. And I'll use my Woolies 9-inch horsehair brush to get the face of the wheel. I'm going to take my IK Multi with the water in it, simply rinse it off. Now it does take a little bit longer than if you had a garden hose, but there are times where a garden hose is just not accessible. You know, maybe you live in an apartment building or something like that where you don't have a garden hose. So you can use this method, or as you can see with the garden sprayer, works just the same. Simply got water in it. Flush everything off. Bring you in here real close and show you that the wheel is perfectly clean, just like we used a garden hose or pressure washer. Wheel looks perfect. Fender well's nice and clean. So all we need to do is rinse and repeat 3 more times, and we'll have all the wheels and tires and fender wells all cleaned up. So let's move on to removing some bugs. So while the roadkill is working on the bugs, I'm going to go ahead and get my solution of N914 mixed up. I've already got my big gold sponge in there with 2 gallons of water. Directions call for 1 ounce to 2 gallons of water. So we'll go ahead and put our 1 ounce in there. Get that all mixed up. So for my IK foamer, I'm not going to try and measure anything. I'm simply going to put it in there and fill it up with the 256-to-1 solution that I've got. I'm going to go ahead and add another ounce to this because I'm going to be using it as a pre-soak. So we got another ounce in there. Go ahead and put the top on. Pull the cap off the Schrader valve, fill it up with air. You're going to hear the safety relief valve go off. I'm going to adjust my tip here. All right. So now the roadkill has had a chance to work on those bugs. And take my McKees 37 bug scrubber sponge. Take my N914 solution that I just mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and foam the front end of this. Add some lubrication to the paint. And I'm going to go ahead and scrub the bugs as I normally would. Takes very little pressure, simply gliding the sponge across the paint. You do not have to scrub. As you can see, they're coming right off. No pressure. About the only pressure I'm applying is just enough to hold on to the sponge. All right, so that took care of the bugs. Easy peasy. Nothing to it. Take care of the mirrors. All right. That's all there is for cleaning off the bugs. Put a little bit more water in my IK multi. We'll rinse off the roadkill bug remover. I've simply got water in here. A couple of stubborn bugs. Need a little bit more attention. Or if I didn't want to use the IK sprayer, as I said before, you can also use a garden sprayer. Works good. You can use that to rinse the solution off. The whole key to this is that even though you may not have access to a garden hose, or you may live in a climate where it's cold, and doing a traditional wash on your car is just not possible. I'm simply showing you alternatives for maintaining your car and keeping it nice and clean. All right, so there's that. Takes a little bit to get all the soap out of the grill. Alright, so that's how you clean bugs without a garden hose. Okay, so now on to the big picture. In my IK Foam Pro 2 Plus sprayer, I've got my N914, mix it 256:1 with 1 ounce added to that mixture. Got it full of pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and foam the car. As you can see, the 914 foams up nicely. So we've got a nice layer of foam on there. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to let this foam sit there for a little bit so it can start breaking down all the dirt and grime and everything. And what we're looking for is we really don't want the foam to stick on the car. We want the foam to run off like it's doing now, because what that's doing, it's grabbing all the grit and everything that's on the car since we didn't pre-rinse it, and it's pulling all that grit down off of the car. So once that grit is all removed with the foam, then it's safe to go behind and do a rinseless wash on the car and not be concerned about anything being on there to scratch the paint. So I just took my big gold sponge out of the bucket. That's entirely too wet. You want it to be about that wet where it's just dripping a little bit, but not a whole lot. Simply start at the top, work your way down. I don't know if you can see that, but there's definitely dirt line there. Do your panel, put it back in your bucket, rub it against the grit guard to get the dirt off, wring it out, just keep washing. So after you do a panel, come behind with your drying towel before it gets a chance to dry. Dry it up. Make sure you turn your sponge over frequently. Keep it rinsed out. Get all the dirt off of it. You see right here the amount of dirt that was actually on the car. So I'm going to go back over that area again. Don't want that in my drying towel. Got that off there. That's all there is to it. Simply repeat this process around the rest of the car. For a drying towel, I'm using the McKees 37 Glacier 1100. So let me pull you in here close, and now you can see the definite before and after. So as you can see, it's all nice and clean. Mirror looks perfect. Window's perfect. There you can definitely see just how dirty the paint really was, even though it didn't look like it was all that dirty. In the event that you don't have a ceramic coated car and you wanted to add some protection to the paint in the rinseless wash process, you can use a drying aid. For a drying aid, I would use the Fast Wax all-in-one. Now typically with a ceramic coated car, you would not use a wax or any type of sealant on top of it. But in the event that you don't have a ceramic coated car, I'll show you how you'd go about doing that. Simply foam it down like you normally would. Take your sponge, go ahead and do your rinseless wash, just like we did on the other panels. And turn the sponge over as we work our way down the car. I'm going to go over that again to make sure I've gotten all the dirt off. So while the panel's still wet, take your Fast Wax, simply do a few mists onto the panel along with the window. Go ahead and dry the car as you normally would. What this is doing, it's adding lubrication to the paint to help prevent any type of towel marring. It also adds protection to the paint, saving you a step from washing the whole car and then coming back behind and going around the whole car again with your spray wax. Leaves a nice gloss, looks good, protects the paint, saves you time. So that's how you use a drying aid with Fast Wax all-in-one. So that's all there is to it. Just continue with this process around the rest of the car. So I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. This is Ron Atchison. Thanks for watching.